This week on the Sheerluxe vodcast, I'm joined by Hodge and the very fabulous Sabrina Elba.
You've got to get your Oscars outfit on, then you've got to get your Vanity Fair outfit on, then you need to change for the gold party. It's a thing.
Awful. We cover a lot of ground today, from how to get invited to Beyonce's party.
If you want to go, you should express an interest to go. If you get denied...
Oh, so we can just message us.
What about we want to go? Through to the very dramatic TV show that Hodge does her very best to explain.
Did you say it's called Bear Hunt? But there's no bears.
His name is
I
Bear.
thought
His name is Bear.
Are they hunting him?
All the skincare advice from a woman who really knows her stuff.
All of these things in this toner that you can put on your desk at your office, spray all day. You're getting your dose of vitamin C.
And finally, we tackle a tricky dilemma which both Hodge and Sabrina are very qualified to answer. Did you move to London for Idris? Like, had you met him before?
I did.
Okay, no, that's good.
I moved for a boy. What's the dilemma?
Okay, well, here's the dilemma. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really, really helps us out. And enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Sheerluxe vodcast with me, Charlotte Collins. This week I'm joined by Hodge Templeman, Sarah Templeman, and the lovely Sabrina Elba. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I love Sheerluxe.
You were such a hit on the show. We
Oh,
wanted you on the pod.
Great.
The VOD.
The VOD.
The VOD.
Should we
so
explain?
that's the VOD.
No, that's the show.
Okay.
This is the VOD.
Hold on, no, we need a full
It will
breakdown
explain,
now.
because listeners also might be confused about the fact that we're calling it a vodcast.
Yeah.
So vodcast is obviously a word to describe a video podcast.
Oh, I see. I didn't actually know that.
We're just going to lean into it. So
Love that.
from now on, if you're listening to a podcast, it means that you can only listen to it on all podcast channels. But if you're listening to a vodcast, it means that you can also watch it.
Love that.
There you go.
I might save that so I remember.
We can just type up what I just said and stick out. For those who are watching, we're going to start with what we're wearing. Hodge, do you want to go first?
I am wearing my new favourite jeans. They are the Citizens of Humanity Isla, but in a dark denim wash. So they're sort of fitted at the top and then wide leg, but they just
perfection.
you know, you find a pair of jeans that works. A shirt from Label Edition and a cardigan from Label Edition and belt from Kate and shoes.
Can we know about the earrings as well?
And
Yeah,
the
they're good.
earrings
Yeah.
are by Alana. She's such a babe. Anyway, she's got gorgeous jewellery to boot.
Sabrina, what about you? What are you wearing?
I'm in a barrel jean, which is my new favorite kind of a
I love a
jean.
barrel.
These are Alaya. And Alaya have these really great t-shirt bodysuits, which I'm also obsessed with. I got it in black and white. And then Alaya flats. I'm so embarrassing. I'm in a full...
I know, I love that.
I've
Full
got
look.
a little bit of Jessica McCormick accessories, rings and
You've got more than a little bit of
earrings.
Jessica. There's quite a lot of Jessica.
You know,
I've spotted it.
she has become like undisputed my favorite jeweler. And I think once you meet a founder of a brand also it changes. It's like watching an artist you love perform as opposed to listening to the record at home. I am obsessed with her. I love her, just her take on jewelry. You can just do diamonds during the day whenever you want. Like, I'm obsessed. So I have been wearing quite a bit of her stuff. And Alaya is very... It's very hard to say no to. And I did come in with my Camilla and Mark trench. That's another brand that I'm loving lately.
Great brand.
Australian.
Aussie brand. So good.
How did you know it was Aussie if you don't know it?
Well,
Like, you mean you haven't
I haven't
tried-
got any of it.
Oh,
So good.
Wow, you're so excited.
I think they're at Selfridges, you know. Now.
Yeah,
I think
they're on
yeah.
Net Porter as well.
Yeah.
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 Awesome brand. So this jacket is Rowe frames, ROHE frames, which I love.
So good.
My trousers are Banana Republic. How random.
Oh my
love
God.
Banana
Banana
Republic
Republic.
has been revived and is available via Gap. And actually, they're really good. You can't tell because I'm sitting, but they're quite a good.
As in,
like,
it's
flare.
not available in its freestanding
Correct,
stores?
correct.
I remember being 18, like I used to work at a retail store on a high street, walking past Banana Republic and saying to myself, that's going to be me. That's the woman I'm going to become. Like, it was so...
Yeah. Grown up.
That
and
mannequin?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me with Reese. I remember being like, when I'm 25, if I can wear this to the office every day, I've made it.
But it was very aspirational in that way and like
Totally,
great. Like I
totally.
thought it was such a good brand.
Yeah. My boots are Paris, Texas. I wear these all the time. And
Paris,
that's kind of it.
And I love about your outfit is have you seen this sort of what is it called? The red rule or something? If you've got something red, it just like
Ooh.
because
my
you've
red-
got your
oh, my
red
nails.
nails. Yeah.
The pop of red.
The pop of red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you're doing it too.
I was saying to the girls I watched Bridget Jones. We're not going to talk about Bridget because we've talked about it a lot. But
But
I
I
watched
think
it last night.
we should just alert everyone that there's a lot of emotions in the room.
It should come with a trigger warning.
Right,
I feel
that's what I said.
I feel upset still.
And I haven't seen it, but I did say I was going to try and rewatch before I go because I
Honestly.
feel like I can't remember.
It would be nice to rewatch them all before because
Yeah.
all the characters from the first film in particular are in the fourth, so it's quite nice to kind of
see.
reacquaint
Yeah.
yourself with all
Okay,
of them.
we'll do that. And you were just torn apart after
I was
watching
torn
it.
apart, so I thought I need to put something on to cheer myself up. So I've gone for Red, but definitely watch it. It's the best film I've seen in a long time.
I
but
love that.
it is
Your favorite of the year?
favorite of the year. Go and watch it, but it's really sad.
What was
Yeah.
your favorite
But
movie
happy at the end.
This year.
of the year? Yeah.
Well, Honora, which
I
last
love
night,
Honora.
yeah, did you see it?
Yeah, and I saw Mikey or Mickey.
Mikey Madison.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mikey
it was,
won.
Exactly. It was the BAFTAs last night and she won Best Actress. Maybe I saw that I actually think I did see it last year technically, but it's obviously doing the award season.
Yeah.
loop right now.
I only just watched it like a week ago, so it's super fresh in my mind. And I thought it was amazing.
It is
So well-
amazing.
She's brilliant.
She plays a young sex worker who ends up meeting a very young son of an oligarch, Russian oligarch, and they have this kind of whirlwind fairy tale romance, and they get married in Vegas, and then his parents find out and come to separate them, and it becomes this sort of big escapade and drama, doesn't it? But I mean, she is incredible in it.
And like big escapade.
Like this
Drama. It gets
sort of
worse by the minute.
crazy, almost farcical drama. There are parts that are very funny, but did you see it with other people? Did you see it in a screening or did you watch it at home?
Yeah, I actually saw it with my stepdaughter.
Aw,
It's funny because it's not something I would have chose if I'd known.
Yeah, no, perhaps
for
not.
us.
How
But
old is she?
She's 23 now, so
Okay,
she can
that's
she can
fine.
totally handle it. It was more just the do I look at my phone and then
Yeah.
do I
Yeah,
look
it's
up
quite
at
a lot of
the
sex.
ceiling? Or do we have an honest conversation about it? Like that's where my mind was the whole time. But I thought it was brilliant.
It's so brilliant, but so I saw it in a cinema and it really disturbed me. Particularly, there's a scene when some henchmen come to separate them, and this I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he runs away and she is left dealing with the henchmen by herself, and there are really farcical elements in it, and so people in the screening were laughing, like people were really, really laughing, and I found it so distressing.
Yeah, because put yourself in that position.
Right.
wow.
She's
my
she's like a
God.
19-year-old girl or a 20-year-old girl who has got these two men trying to hold her captive.
Yeah.
And she is, okay, it's funny in this sort of, there's some slapstick stuff.
Yeah.
But exactly
she's
that.
sort of trying to fight her way out and stuff, and they do kind of make it a bit funny. But at the end of the day, you're
It's
a
a
young
dark
girl in a
situation.
house
Right.
with three men you don't know being tied down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why I think Mikey's so great. Is she did a great job of sort of playing that.
Yeah.
As well, like how am I supposed to feel safe? Like
Totally.
how like I thought the writing for her part and how she played it was really well done.
And like how it ends is just so beautiful. And
yeah, I know. Actually, I cried a
Yeah,
bit
me
at
too.
that. Oh no, here we go.
All the films.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was great. What else have you guys seen? What are you watching?
I haven't seen The Brutalist, which I really want to see.
Me too, but it's 4 hours long.
And have you heard the drama about it?
There's some AI drama.
Yeah.
around it, yes. But
Your
I think it's really
take?
interesting. Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones, who play the two leads, are supposed to be from Hungary. So they learnt Hungarian to play the part.
Wow.
Yeah, which is obviously like quite a big undertaking.
Yeah.
But then they wanted it to sound so authentic to Hungarian viewers. So
Yeah.
they used AI to enhance their accents and to just improve the quality of their Hungarian.
It was obviously in the Oscar running and everyone was talking about the film and the performances. Does the tweaking of that performance with something like AI do anything to sort of
undermine it?
undermine, for instance, Adrian's
authenticity.
and I actually think probably not. No, I mean, I'm not so, because things like that
think
happen in
it's-
film all the time,
yeah.
I actually think if he went to this point where he's already learning Hungarian,
Right.
cut him some slack.
Yeah, I
I mean, it is not.
Yeah.
And how often do you watch a movie and you kind of fall out of it because the accent like maybe slips for a minute or something? Do you know what I
Totally.
mean? Like, so they've kind of just taken that from you so you can stay in it.
Yeah.
If they're not changing the performance
They're not
and it's
changing
just
the performance.
enhancing something that actually is also only kind of visible or audible to a certain group of people just to make it a more authentic experience for them.
Yeah.
I don't
And we
see why
probably
that-
wouldn't have
think it's
noticed it anyway.
respectful.
I think it's respectful too.
Yeah. And also, that you can do that now. So why wouldn't you?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
and
think we've only not done...
it's only going to get worse from here, guys.
Guys, if you think that's bad.
Yeah.
It's 4.5 hours though, so I feel like
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and watch it at home.
No, it's definitely one you should
It's
watch.
not one, yeah.
I never go to cinema ever.
Really? Did you do Bridget Jones?
We
at
did
home?
in the cinema, but that
I only did it last night.
was my in-laws had the kids.
I feel like the cinema, if you've got kids, is a really annoying thing to pay a babysitter to go and do.
completely.
Oh, I see.
So
I'm
it
a
suffers.
cinema person. I love
too.
going to the cinema.
know.
I feel if I'm at home, I'll probably cook or do something, or I'll distract myself, and so I'm never fully.
And
in
you
it.
can't look at your phone in the cinema.
No, you're like
people tell you off.
Yeah. You're forced to be in the moment, and also I love audience reactions. It doesn't happen so much in the UK, and it's because when I'm in New York, if I've got a night off, I'm like, I'm going to go to the cinema. Yeah. American audiences, I love hearing like the out loud laughs, like the whereas in the UK, it is a lot more polite. Yeah.
So I can think of a couple of times in the UK where I've had that. I remember so clearly in Sex and the City, the movie.
Yeah.
Like this is showing my like detailed knowledge of this film, but when Carrie, Biggs just left her at the altar and they go on her honeymoon and she's been wearing dark glasses and she gets into the honeymoon suite and she takes off her glasses and she looks like red. She looks how you think you look today, even though you don't. Like her eyes are red. And I remember the whole audience going, like she just looked so awful and so sad, and it was so heartbreaking. And then also, I remember so clearly seeing Mamma Mia when it first came out in cinemas. And I remember the whole cinema danced at the end. Everyone was on their feet.
I love that.
So
I
fun.
love that. And also when you're watching a comedy, if everyone's laughing, it's like watching a comedian live, isn't it? The room picks it up, doesn't it?
One other time was when I saw Cats. Have you seen Cats? Oh, wait, your husband's in it. So sorry. What I was going I'm dead. Everyone really, really embraced that film, and the whole room, like there was a lot of this going on during Cats.
That's very good. That's very nice to hear, because I know it didn't necessarily receive the warmest.
No, it wasn't necessarily.
But what I will say about that I loved sort of having like a behind the scenes view of that. The amount of work that went into that film. Oh my God. I mean, costumes, the dancing, like every performer worked their bum off for months. So I was slightly sad when it wasn't like given, and it didn't get what it deserved. But I remember Idris at one point even had to go to cat school to like learn cat-like movements.
I love that. They do that for the performers on the West End.
But and this is how, they to every detail.
Come in so handy.
What does he do with those skills now? Wouldn't we like to know?
He is not a cat person though. So I thought the film was going to turn him, and I thought, because I love cats. I've always grown up with a cat.
Did he spend time with any real cats?
No, you're right. No, not necessarily. But I thought like learning about cats, and I was like, okay, this is like an experience. He's going to come back being like, oh, cats are so intelligent, and no, he still doesn't love.
Gutted. Not worth doing it.
Clearly not.
I was going to say we're going to move on and talk about things we're loving. We're kind of there already, but let's formalize it. We're going to talk about everything that we're loving right now.
We've been watching Celebrity Bear Hunt with Bear Grylls, which is a series on Netflix. It's 8 eps, and it's basically 12 celebrities in Costa Rica, and it's sort of a cross between
does it have something to do with bears?
Survival.
No, Bear Grylls. Do you know who he is?
Oh no,
he's like a his name is Bear. He's like a survivalist.
I'm picturing
it's a TV personality,
like a TV survivalist.
Yeah,
is it like Survivor, the show?
Well, it's a mix between Survivor and Shipwrecked.
Okay, so Shipwrecked. Shipwrecked. Shipwrecked was a show in the UK like 20 years ago. Yeah. It was like one of the original reality shows. A bit like a Love Island. Yeah. But it was all pre-recorded. It was on Channel 4 in like 11 a.m.
We used to watch it on
Sounds like
oh my God, I love this show so much. There were 2 islands and a different person, like a different young hot person. They were always posh. They were always hot and blonde. Yeah. They were just like on their gap year, basically. Right. And they would arrive on these, and they'd spend a few days with the tigers and a few days with the sharks. And at the end, they would decide which one they wanted to live on permanently, and repeat. But it was so good.
It was so good. And actually, I worked with a girl who won it years later.
Wow. Nice.
And she was like, everyone was shagging the cameraman.
It was all bullshit.
They had not expecting that.
Craters of condoms from what I remember from like behind the scenes. Yeah.
I like, anyway.
So Bear is not shagging.
No,
different show.
But Holly Willoughby is presenting it. She got paid £1 million for 24 minutes of TV.
Wait, what do you mean?
For this show?
She's only on 24
She was only
minutes?
on 24 minutes.
Do you know what? Good
for her. Holly.
Yeah.
Wow. I know.
How do you know that?
I don't know. Reddit.
Don't you always question these things when you hear them?
I believe it. That might be a total lie, but sure.
I heard it on TikTok.
If you don't know where you know something from, it's TikTok. It's always TikTok.
Basically, it's 12 celebs, and it's quite like a range. It's
But British
Shirley from who's the head judge on Strictly Come Dancing.
Shirley
Okay.
You should
Yeah,
do
yeah.
Strictly Come Dancing.
You should do Strictly.
You know
You
what?
should.
I'm not
If you're
cut for reality
listening.
TV. Emma Weymouth is a good friend of mine.
yeah.
She was on
She did
Strictly
it,
at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah, it is quite
I
intense.
was like, I don't have the stamina.
Yeah, I did.
for
It's not
that.
easy. It's
Or
not
the
easy.
No, it
emotional
looks like-
stability.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's Shirley Ballas, it was Boris Becker, Danny Cipriani, who was in
Hot.
who is so hot and comes
Yeah.
across so well. I love him. Lottie Moss, Una who from the
random
Saturdays,
mix.
whose
Yeah,
husband
it's
cheated on her, and she's gorgeous. I
Yeah.
don't know why he cheated on her, and she seems so nice. Anyway, it's quite like a rogue mix, and everyone's nice because we always say we don't like. Well, Charlotte says I quite like it. She doesn't like it when people are mean to each other on these shows.
Right.
I don't want to watch that if they're all just being horrible.
They're not mean.
Right. The only reality I do indulge in biblically is Housewives now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But-
what they're just.
And
so
it is a
mean
bit
to
of me.
each other.
Yeah, it's a bit me. I know. And I've got family on it.
Do you?
I do. I know. Uba Hassan on New York.
Oh my god, she is amazing. But she's been the real victim of like that. Like I actually didn't watch the season, but
it's been crazy.
been
I know.
crazy.
It
And
has
is it
been
bullshit?
a bit crazy.
It's bullshit. I actually don't watch
No,
New
see,
York,
I
Housewives,
think
which
it
is
is
weird.
still a pressure chamber, and obviously people are going to act how they act when they're tired and they've been working for like 2 months
And
on
the
this thing.
producers.
And yeah, I think so. So I don't think it's as scripted as people think it is. Like I do think people are kind of pushed into these extremes, but then is that scripted? Is that not? Like when people act
And
like
you know
this
what
and
you're doing, and you know what's going to get you more exposure.
yeah, I mean
you
it
want
was really difficult for me to watch this season.
I was going to say I heard it got quite dark. Yeah.
she cries on TV. Like I'm just gonna break down. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just like no.
Wait, what's your relation to her?
So she's my cousin, and then I have a cousin on Dubai, Chanel Ayan.
That's cool.
I know. So I'm just
They're gonna
like,
come for you.
is
Are
they
there
coming for you
ever
for
going to
London?
be? Is there going to be
Yeah,
a
there
Housewives?
is. London
But they're
is.
doing Ladies of London. Did you hear that?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but then how is that house? I thought that's a different show.
My
'Cause
friend
isn't
was
that?
approached.
Oh wait, so I was saying to somebody the other day that I want to start asking around and finding out who's been approached.
been
But
approached.
Yeah, I want
I
to know
can
about your
find
friend who's
out.
been approached. I'm
But
surprised
yeah,
you
but
haven't been asked.
New York was a bit devastating, and I do
It's,
think it touched on some very dark
Right.
issues. Yeah, some very dark themes that maybe are. That's not the best forum to address some of
No,
these.
totally
You know,
right.
and then that's the thing with reality TV is, at what point do you?
Yeah.
Intervene. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
quite
these are
tricky.
all really nice to each other.
So the island is not.
So no, so
what is
they
it called? Is
basically-
it called
It's
Jungle?
Celebrity Bear Hunt. Oh, it's in Costa Rica. I don't know.
Did you say it's called Bear Hunt? But there's no bears.
His name is
I
Bear.
thought we.
His name is Bear.
Are they hunting him?
Yeah, they're running. You still haven't explained what the show's about. What happens in
Georgia
the show?
would be like,
It's literally called Bear
I'm
Hunt.
so bad at telling stories. I go around the house.
Okay, so
Anyway,
so they're not hunting him either.
Well, no. So what they do these challenges, and then whoever loses the challenges, they split into teams, and whoever loses the challenges go into his like bear compound, and then he hunts them, and they have an hour in there, and they have
So
to,
that's his thing.
and
Like
there's, like,
he's
3
like a marine.
exits.
He can find anyone.
That's the kind of vibe,
let's say that we don't know.
Survivalist marine.
I've been watching it with my children because we really loved watching Traitors as a family.
You know,
and
it's
it's
funny.
like
Our
it's
10-year-old
that.
loved Traders as well.
It's like that. You should watch it then because it's that type of family entertainment where there's some good like morals and
Right.
good like behaviors coming through.
Nice.
They're all helping each other. I mean, there's a few dramas, but like
Celebrity Bear
barely.
Hunt.
Great.
Nice.
Thanks.
Got there in the end.
Yeah, finally.
Any,
That's it. Anything in general? What are you loving?
did you talk about the Super Bowl already?
No.
No,
we did last week.
that's
No.
quite a hot topic,
Yes,
isn't it?
agreed.
I loved the performance, and I remember being really shocked, sort of seeing some of the online rhetoric about it. But it was the most watched, right?
Is
ever.
that right? The most watched.
It's
Oh,
broken the
but
record.
because
It is.
because of who was playing.
This is Kendrick's
I mean,
performance.
I
We should say
think
in the
yes,
Super Bowl
this
halftime show
is
last week.
Kendrick Lamar's performance, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought to see somebody do in hip hop what he was doing that felt so new and fresh after it's been around for like 50 years almost now, right? It was to me amazing, making a political statement without it overshadowing the music. I thought, I mean, the flared denim. Can we talk about the flared denim?
The jeans.
I
Wow.
revisited every flared thing I own
Yes,
in
and
my closet.
Timothy Chalamet then wore a pair this week off the back of, we assume, Kendrick.
Timothy's been killing it.
It's fascinating.
Another-
I
Yeah.
could do a
Yeah.
deep dive on what Timothy's been wearing recently.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
So, but I really enjoyed the performance, and I thought with the state of everything, to be honest, I feel like it's something every day of what's happening in the US at the moment, for him to perform with that kind of overtone and what was happening was just beautiful. I thought it was great.
He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. Like I
Yeah.
think it's the kind of music that like would be easy for kind of, you know, Luddites to dismiss as just sort of all sounding the same or whatever.
Yeah, but I also think because he didn't do, and like people expected him to do just sort of the radio hits that he has in his catalog. You know, he was way more conscious about what he chose and the words that he was saying. And also he had done a Super Bowl performance previously as a guest. I can't remember who he came on as a guest
It was
with.
when Dr. Dre did it.
Yeah,
It was
so it's not like he's going to redo the songs that he's already done there, right? So I just thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
Ultimately, everyone just wanted to hear Not Like Us.
Yeah,
and
I know.
That is that sound is still so viral on TikTok.
It is
Everyone
so
doing the little
viral.
shuffle
And you know what's so
dance.
interesting about that song is it's like almost everyone I've spoken to, all ages and gender, and like everyone knows that song, which is so crazy.
I wonder why it was so
massive. There was so much build up. And I feel when there's that much conversation about something, people are watching it with like a
critique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a bit why. People also, I think, wanted him to maybe fail a little subconsciously because he had, you know, competed with someone in his sport that was a crowd favorite. So it's, you know, the underdog who's not the underdog, but was seen maybe on in some context like that.
Yeah, because I saw a thing the other day that was like comparing their sort of respective like accolades, and Drake's won 5 Grammys, but Kendrick's won 15. Like he is actually not the underdog at all, but I think he's just less mass.
Exactly, and I think that's where people make the confusion. You know, it's and probably actually why Kendrick's performance was so great, because you realized where they're competing. Yeah, he's actually
he's a bit better.
I'm not gonna say that. But I'm a Canadian. I've got to hold down court.
You're a Drake girl.
I
would like to see a woman headlining next year. We've had 3 men in a row now.
And who?
When did J-Lo
I mean, Taylor hasn't done it. J-Lo and Shakira, I think, was like the best ever.
Taylor hasn't ever.
Taylor's not done it.
Oh, I thought she had.
No.
But it's also.
I don't think she would.
But I also kind of don't.
Because of Travis.
Travis, yeah.
Interesting. That would be.
Because she actually gets so much hate from football fans. She was booed at Super Bowl because they're like, you're a distraction.
And because she's besties with Blake. Did you see that this morning?
The Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Wait, what else now?
I know. Well, they're fanning the flames a bit. So it was this weekend. SNL are celebrating 50 at Saturday Night Live.
Which looked amazing.
It looked amazing.
I actually wish I'd gone. I was I missed out.
You should have gone.
I should have.
Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were on stage, and they were like, "Does anyone have any questions?" Ryan Reynolds and Blake went, and they did the step and repeat. They did which I thought was quite admirable that they got dressed up and went. And Ryan Reynolds stands up and says, "Yes, I've got a question," and they were like, "Oh, Ryan, is everything okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, why? What have you heard?" Which is quite funny. Like, it is, you've got to give it to them. Like, I think he's probably, I don't know, I'm not a big fan, but...
You're not a fan of Ryan?
No, I've always...
Oh, he's Canadian.
She's Canadian. He's Canadian.
He's also Canadian, also from Vancouver. I mean, it's literally his Instagram name.
What that is a reference to?
Yeah.
What is
Van City or something, isn't it? Like Van.
Is that Vancouver?
I thought that was just because of.
Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Van City is Vancouver.
Of course it is. So I
just always found him and Blake a bit smug, even before all of this. I'm just.
You know what? I feel also with everything they've built, and this is why I'm slightly sensitive to this conversation. It's. Until you know someone or know them or their personal situations, it's so hard to say. Sure. And I think this thing has just been so blown up.
Agreed.
It's just there's no winning. There's no winning regardless. You know,
they'll bounce back. They'll all bounce back.
But I find Ryan absolutely hilarious. Like I actually think he's one of the funniest people. You don't think? Did you watch Deadpool?
I've never seen Deadpool.
You've never seen Deadpool?
I find him really funny in The Proposal. I love that
very
film.
good in The Proposal.
He's very funny.
But I think Deadpool is hilarious. Yeah,
I've not watched that.
Only because I'm Welsh. So.
I mean, he is a national hero, so.
Yeah, sorry, we're literally insulting like the mascot of Canada right now.
I know. Poor Canada and what it's gone through the past couple of weeks as well.
I love Justin Bieber. We'll give you that. She's Canadian.
Shania Twain, Celine Dion.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, you've produced some great.
We love Canada.
Can I tell you about something completely different? I want to tell you about. Well, I've told you about this already. I did this health scan last week, which is called a Neko or a Neko.
Yes, tell me everything. Nope, I haven't done it. Need to know.
Neko. They're in London. There's one in Stockholm, one in London. It's a Swedish company. And they've basically developed, you might have seen like this full body scan that they have in the States.
It's essentially an MRI.
Exactly.
I forget what the American one is called. Nuvo?
Because of the maybe it's that Pronuvo or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's something like $2,000, $3,000. This is £299, which like is look, it's not cheap, but that's an amazing price.
I do think that's so important.
Yeah.
I think tech like that should just be democratized for everyone. In fact, it should probably be free.
Yeah,
I mean, in
an ideal world for sure. So basically, you go in, you have an hour appointment. It looks like the inside of a spaceship. It is so futuristic, and it it assesses 10,000 different data points in your body. The point of it is preventative health. So we were talking about it.
Things way before blood tests.
Exactly.
And stuff like
so
that.
you stand in this scan. It's a kind of.
Oh, you're standing.
So there's two different parts to
Naked.
it. So there's naked in a naked. And that is like
to know how to prep.
No. I shaved my legs and I was like, thank God I did this because they get quite handsy on your legs.
Spray tanning or not?
They were like trying to. They were assessing your skin, and I'm like, listen, a lot of this is tan. Like, I couldn't tell you what's skin and what's tan. So good luck. You have this very quick scan where they scan every single mark on your body, and then you go and lie down, and you have this. All takes 20 minutes, by the way. They do blood tests, and they have this little chute, and they put the blood vial straight in and goes.
Oh my God.
And it goes straight to the lab upstairs.
Yeah,
and
the
they
people in the
assess
white
it
coats.
straight away.
Like
Exactly.
the Jetsons.
No. It's literally like, it's the Jetsons. The whole thing is like if somebody in the past had imagined what a
Is the room also
futuristic-
super high tech looking?
I'll show you a photo.
clinical.
It's crazy. So clinical, but so like spaceship, and you're served by a woman who's like, welcome. Anyway, you have like an ECG. They take blood pressure from like your ankles and your toes as well as your anyway.
Oh my
all these different
God.
things. And
Our
then
ankles have blood pressure.
a whole different type. Yes, because it tells you about the
My
blood flow in
ankles
your
are not
body.
giving anything.
Wow.
The tiniest.
Guys, just scrub off your tan first, because
Right.
and then you get taken into another little futuristic room with a screen, and you meet a GP, and she spends half an hour talking, or they spend half an hour talking you through every result.
Was it hard to get into? Was there a wait list?
There is a wait list, but
Right.
they are opening several new locations in London. So hopefully over the next year or so.
It's so
it'll
European
yeah.
to just like have 70% off these kind
Yeah, I know, literally.
things compared to the
my
States.
God.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? It's because I asked why is it so much more affordable, and the founders who created it, they like own the patent for it, so when they recreate it, they're not having to like license the technology. So highly recommend, put yourselves on the wait list, and it's so worth doing because
I'm gonna do it. Are you
Me
do
too.
it?
You were buzzing afterwards.
I'm 34 next week. My heart age is 31.
Oh, they tell you your heart age.
These are your heart age, and mine is younger.
I
than
need
my
to go
actual
do
age.
this.
Yeah, I do have one more thing to talk about in the health camp, because here's one I made earlier. So I want to tell you about this supplement called Sisterly.
Yes.
So we've been working with them on Sheerluxe, but as part of this, I hosted a panel with them last week, and I basically came away being like, everybody needs
Okay,
to
because
know
I
about
I
got
haven't
a box
heard
on
of
my
it
desk
before.
and I never take
you
them.
will. You'll be
Yeah.
obsessed. So it's founded by 3 women who are in their, I want to say late 40s, maybe they're now in their early 50s. And they were basically all really high powered, had amazing careers. You know, one was a judge, one was had been in investment banking. And they, a bit like so many women, were kind of so sick of the mass information, the sort of, having umpteen supplements on the shelf, which just sit there and gather dust, and you're told you must have this and you must have this and you must take that, and you're taking 15 pills a day, you need this because you do take
so
that many pills a day. Who the hell knows? How do you travel with it? Blah, blah, all of those questions. And everyone's just burnt out, lacking energy, etc. So they basically went on this mission to they have one supplement. The entire brand is one supplement called the Elevator.
And does it cover all your bases?
Everything. So it has 23 different ingredients in it. As I say, energy, when they did their market research, was like the number one thing that women in all age brackets said that they felt they wanted more of. So it's specifically designed with energy in mind, but all different things: sleep, skin, all the kind of basic health, all the little basic health requirements that we all, the niggles that we all have. And go on their website, their testimonies and their case studies are amazing. So their thing is, these are the basics that every woman, this is the one size fits all. We could all benefit from this. And then, if you need to add whatever it is, omega-3, whatever it is that you want to
also got
supplement
biotin.
with. Yeah. It's
so
amazing.
So it could be a pre sort of pregnancy, isn't that the
Yes, it's really good for fertility. Yeah, exactly that.
Biotin's hair as well, isn't it?
Really good for hair.
Nails.
They were showing me photos of like one of the girls who works for them and how her skin was so bad before, and just 3 months on it.
No
completely
way.
cleared up.
That's
Anyway,
really
so
cool.
Highly
And
recommend. It's really worth knowing about.
The hormonal side of things is really becoming more and more spoken about. I think, and women being careful of what's disrupting.
Well, the other thing I've just done, since we're talking about my health journey, the other thing I've just done is a Dutch hormone test, which is basically, obviously you can do blood tests and test what is going on in your body hormone wise, but you also need to know how your body is like eliminating hormones through your urine. So a Dutch hormone test is basically for nearly the entirety of your cycle. You do a litmus test. You do a urine sample nearly every single day. And then there's like a certain day in your cycle where you do like 4. And then they send them off to a lab, and they can basically see throughout your entire cycle what your hormones are doing. And it's so fascinating, because again, if you do a blood test,
sign me up. Where do you do that?
It's amazing. So I did it via Pippa Campbell, who we have on the podcast coming soon. She's a functional nutritional therapist, but you should be able to go through somebody like her. And it's very sciencey. I was trying to kind of keep up as she was going through the results, but fascinating. Like
Yeah.
you basically know what your body's doing throughout your entire cycle, hormone-wise. It's really worth it.
And you can go, that explains everything.
Yeah. I was like, right. Yeah, sounds about right. So there we go. It's hot topic time. We've spoken about Kendrick already, but we were talking before about award shows, and you were saying you've been to the Oscars.
Oh, yes.
That's a hot topic.
Oscars.
I've done the award season round without a nomination. I feel that's quite
really cool.
I feel we need to talk about the shows and then the after parties.
I will say Oscars does have the best after party, which I have done more than the awards.
Oh, right. Have you done Vanity Fair?
Yes, I've done Vanity Fair a couple
Wow.
times. It's great because I think as a fashion lover, like just watching everybody show up, you know, like proper show up, it's nice. But I will say there's an even better party after that.
Which is?
The gold party. So Jay-Z and Beyonce do a annual party after Vanity Fair. So it feels like everyone it feels everyone's rushes to Vanity Fair, and they do give you call times at these kind of things, right? So you don't want a late call time. The reason you don't want a late call time is because you need to get to the gold party.
And the call time is for the
carpet. Exactly. So if you get like a 10 p.m.
I gotta
go. Yeah.
They don't do photos at the gold party, do they? Like, not
so
like
there's
official press photos.
but there is like a photo booth kind of thing. So you will see black and white photos sometimes come out. But they're quite strict on the invites, and I feel quite glamorous.
I mean, I'm
oh my god!
Tell us everything.
You've got to get your Oscars outfit on, then you've got to get your Vanity Fair outfit on, then you need to change for the gold party.
Sounds
it's a thing.
Awful. It sounds so for you. What did you wear at the time you did the Oscar the ceremony?
What was the last? Oh yeah, so I did Stella at the Oscars. Sorry, let me just get my ducks in a row. God,
get the designers right.
Which was I love Stella McCartney. I went to see her showroom as she was getting ready for her shows, and she had this amazing green dress, and she was like, try it on, and I was like, why? Okay, I will. Tried it on, did a little strut, and I was like, you know what? I need this dress. And she was like, I thought you might say that.
Oh my god.
And this was like, you know, it's only a couple days or a couple weeks before Oscars at that point, Paris Fashion Weekends, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So she did me a solid, got me this gown. I loved it. It's one of my favorite gowns I've ever worn. It was this green sort of shoulder structured long sleeve gown with this emerald bow. It was absolutely amazing. And then I was going to wear something completely different to Vanity Fair, but then I was scrolling on Instagram and saw this Nicholas Gibran dress, and it was like this very crystal encrusted sort of sheer but not sheer dress. And I just messaged them and I was like, do you have this? Because I kind of like it better than what I'm wearing. Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And within an hour, it was at my room. Like, I feel like that's such
it was that day?
It was that day.
Oh my God. I thought you meant in advance.
No, it was that day. Like how, because I thought I have something to wear. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Sure. But the thing, everyone is there with their dresses. That's the great thing about being in LA for award season, right?
Do you know,
like everyone's there.
How do you know to not wear the same thing as other people? Is that the
so
stylist
I think it's
chat?
No, I think that's if you're wearing runway, you're not going to be wearing the same thing as someone else, right? Because it's a sample. There's only one. Okay, but it is quite, or vintage is a great way to do that as well. Like if you know you've got a great vintage banker, I'm 99% sure nobody else.
Yeah. And we should see more vintage on the red carpet.
And we should, Actually, I was.
You should wear that dress again.
I should. Yeah. I love it. But I'd love vintage shopping as well. Like I do.
Yeah.
Find some like Tab Vintage in LA. I could almost just do all my shopping on that site. Like it's so good.
Wow. Tab Vintage. Have they got an actual store?
They've got an online shop.
Oh, online, right.
I almost don't want to. Can we wipe it out so everyone?
Yeah. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. No, it's really good, and they're actually really lovely as well. And then I switched to an Alaya 2-piece for the gold party.
So what happens at the gold
tell us about the gold party.
It's a good party. I feel you're not allowed to talk. I want to be invited again.
Do it?
You guys do not put me in this position.
We're going to broadcast it.
There's pizza. I'll say that.
Pizza. I was going to ask what the food situation was. So that's good to know.
Actually, Vanity Fair has In-N-Out. At least which was I thought quite chic.
Yeah,
like everyone in their gowns with a burger and fries.
You're picky. Do you know where you are in Hollywood's pecking order if you're not invited to gold? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I want to say no because I think if you want to go, you should express an interest to go. If you get denied,
so we just message us.
What about if we want to go? I will just message Jay-Z. I'm expressing my interest in attending your.
I'd be like, ask.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Why not? Nothing
so
to lose.
Ridiculous.
Sabrina Elba told us.
I'm so sorry. Beyonce in her DMs, tons of messages now. Hello. So I feel if you weren't able to go, maybe you've asked too late. Like, I don't think it's necessarily that. Like, I do think the party gets bigger and bigger. It's at downstairs at the Chateau Marmont. Like, they invite people that they know will just make the room
They're
great.
just cool, aren't they?
Place. They are very cool.
Who's the best person that you've seen at one of these parties? Is there anyone that you are like, whoa, starstruck?
Get to see people quite often.
Yeah, okay, so who's
but I will say who I was excited about was I met Thames for the first time in person, and cool. I'm obsessed with her. She's an African artist, and she, her voice. She was heaven. I must send you a playlist after this. Like, she's absolutely phenomenal. No. So good. Obviously, Queen Bee. Before I met Idris, the thing that I had known him from, like, some like an actor for a film, was Obsessed. Yeah. That was one of my favorite films. So I was like, the first thing I said to him, so you've made out with Beyonce. Like,
oh my God.
That is wild.
They've got a great session in that film. They made a
film together. Okay,
yeah. So, no, cool. I do. They're great people. I love them. I love that party. Oscars, definitely. So cool. It's coming up. I do actually really want to go again. It was such a good party. I would even just go for that. I know, I wish.
Life's too short. Like, you've got to take those invites.
But you can't do, we were just talking about this earlier. You can't say yes to everything, and you can't be everywhere at once. You can't do all the things.
I think you can say yes to that.
I think that should be prioritized.
Or we'll get this.
If not,
I love that.
Yeah. Hodge, you put the thing you're loving this week is Trini's morning routine.
I'm sure you both are, but inundated with people's morning routines, and not how they like put their makeup on, how they like start filming a piece of content, but like when they've literally just got out of bed, and I have to
say that drives me mad.
It's just wild.
Where they've like gone and set the camera up on the other side of the room,
and
they wake
it's
up
obviously
and they're like,
not when they got up, right?
Well,
like it is.
I think it might have been Trini's.
Maybe for
she's quite raw.
She's very real. Give it to her.
Yeah, it probably was.
She's jumping up and down in her pajamas, and then she starts hitting herself, and like really quite aggressively,
right,
to get her lymph nodes, lymphatic drainage system
going, which is actually important.
I know. And then I said to a girlfriend at work, I was like, oh my God, I just can't tear my eyes off this. And she said, I do that in the shower every day.
Wait, she does the hitting herself in the shower?
She like hits herself like that.
I want to say something like dry brushing would have a similar...
I do dry body brush.
Yeah, so if you're dry brushing, then
I just find it so painful.
Do you? I actually find it feels good. I love a good scrub.
Yeah. So we're just busy laughing and joking about moisturising because we were talking about this before we recorded. The different body habits. Well, we thought it was between white and black girls, but it turns out that Hodge is full body moisturising all the time.
But saying that generally black women, I mean, the moisture from the minute you're born, like the shea butter, the Vaseline probably at some point. Because before we started, it was like, I need to get my elbows. I need to make sure.
And we were like, nobody says that.
No one's looking at your elbows.
I mean, it will be slightly more visible on me when they're dry. But it is a thing. It's a thing. And I feel when you've got less melanin in your skin, you can get away without moisturizing, but you're missing out on the benefits.
And I have like no melanin in my skin whatsoever.
But we do all have melanin.
I cannot express to you how little melanin I have.
I mean, this is the spray tan speaking then.
That's it. Hence the need for the spray tan.
But then we say that and then you call it like an age spot or a freckle or, we've all got melanin in our skin that shows up in different forms. And actually, I've been started using, I love and I'm obsessed with Josie Moran's body butter. And she's got the retinoid in one of them. And I really feel it's helped with my skin, like just being a bit more consistent. I have just become more intentional about using actives and like glycolic in the shower and stuff on my body because it makes such a massive difference. I saw an interview with Jodie Turner-Smith breaking down her skin. I mean, who has better skin?
Yeah, she's insane.
She's flawless.
And I was like, I just need to do more. I'm just not doing enough.
I can get quite more.
And
I could do more.
And we do all of this stuff on, we care about ingredients and stuff on our face.
I know.
But we neglect the rest of our body.
It's the same with scalp care, isn't it? Yeah. So body care, scalp care. I would love to go into body eventually as a brand
Really?
founder.
Yeah, I want to ask about your beauty. Exactly.
I know. African beauty in general, when it comes to body care, I mean, I cannot tell you guys how much good stuff there is.
You obviously feel so strongly.
Yeah,
so it's such a good brand message. You should.
You should. Tell us
Listen, we're small, independent, self-funded family brand. It is going good. I am so impressed every day by the amount of work that the team puts out and how big our community has gotten. And I think for so many people, like I felt when I started the brand, there's now something that speaks to them. Like at first I didn't even feel I felt in the wellness space. It fit into the wellness space. If I'm very honest, as a Black woman, there wasn't a lot of people who look like me doing the yoga and the Pilates visibly the way that you see a lot of fitness influencers. Yeah, you know, and I felt a little, where do I fit in? But then at the same time, I recognized a lot of the like superfoods and the antioxidants and the baobabs and the turmeric. And I'm like, hold on, this feels like it's from where, you know, where I come from, like my part of the world, but didn't represent me in some way. So it did feel somewhat appropriated. And one of the things we were passionate about when we started the brand, and we didn't just use African botanicals as hero ingredients because, you know, we're both African. Like, I get that's quite cute and kitschy, but
it is an idea.
But it's because they are the most powerful antioxidants. And for us to be able to champion them in formulations that are meant to cater to melanin-rich skin first, because by the way, if you do that, it's better for everyone. That was like the crux of the brand, which we spoke about at one point, right? Because we're the most sensitive subgroup, prone to more inflammation, dry, can lack ceramides, formulate for melanin-rich skin first, and everyone can benefit. And my partner, when I started the business, aside from Idris, because I did start it with him, is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like yourself. And I was like, this is going to work for both of us.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
So we knew the formulations had to be packed with antioxidants. So that's why go to the continent that has the best antioxidants, because it has the harshest climates. The botanicals have to be super resilient. And we wanted to hero them on the front of every bottle, get people to learn their names, but also know that they're African. Like, I mean, do we go to Whole Foods, see an African ingredient and think, oh, those are the faces that farmed it, and those are the stories, and it's been passed down through families? No, that's all been wiped away, and it's turned into like a trendy buzz shot. So we wanted to like reclaim a bit of that, and I think people resonating with that has been one of the most fulfilling things. Like, I get people say to me all the time, oh my god, you've got an okra serum. Like, I grew up with okra. Like, I love that. And to feel there's something that speaks to them but is also efficacious. I'm like, oh, I think we've done something. So it's been really nice.
What one product should everybody know? If you could only pick one, what should
everybody
have?
Our toner, I have to give the hubby a bit of credit for this one, because for me, traditionally growing up, I thought of toners as kind of like the pointless step in the routine, astringent, heavy, you know, a little like, oh, why are we doing a toner? But he's just sort of asked all the right questions. Why do you need a pad? Why can't it be in a spray? It's like, it's genius. And for it to be just sort of maximum packed, so it's not like just a pointless step. Do you know what I mean? So we've got, you know, vitamin C, ferulic acid. The vitamin E will kind of just like help cushion the vitamin C, and ferulic acid's going to boost its efficacy. That makes sense to have that as the holy trinity, with ingredients like black seed, which are antiseptic, and AHA in there, which was actually his idea as well, because he wanted to use it as an aftershave. So the AHAs help with a bit of the exfoliation rather than using like an alcohol. Like, all of these things in this toner that you can put on your desk at your office, spray all day, you're getting your dose of vitamin C. So I love our toner. It's become a hero product for us, and people are really obsessed with it. But we have something new launching this year that I am so excited about. And I don't know why I tease that, because I can't talk about it. But you'll tell us afterwards. But yeah, I'll tell you. Actually, I'll send some to the office.
Please do.
Yeah, I would love to.
We're going to do a dilemma, but quickly, I want to ask you as well, before we do that, you're doing some acting.
I am. So when I was in uni, I did a little bit of a fine arts program, and I thought I'd wanted to be an actress. I actually had the same agent as Ryan, by the way.
Yeah, I've been insulting all your friends today.
Now you know why I had to like hold court. And I thought I really wanted to get into it, and I'd done a bit of it, and my mom was like, look, you know, you're missing a lot of school for the auditions, and you should think maybe this is something you should do after. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Anyways, that all fell apart when I met Idris. But then I was like so inspired watching him. It was a master class, you guys. I cannot tell you, like, being able to go to set and watch him work with some of the most amazing people, like talented directors and cast. And I was like, you know what, that I kind of remember why I really loved that. So I have kind of dabbled a bit. I just finished a film in Rome, and I'm starting another one in a week.
Oh my God.
I know.
Can you tell us anything about the Rome one?
Yeah, so it's a horror film. Called White Mars. And then the one I'm doing in Toronto, I'm really excited about. It's based on a book about a young boy who's sort of conflicted between school and his mosque and what's happening at home. And in the book, he does turn to extremism. In the end, he kind of gets taken down the wrong path. But in the film, it's going to be a little bit different. I can't say too much, but playing his mom, and really excited about that.
So interesting.
And it's a really, like, I love the idea of being a part of a story that kind of changes a narrative. Like, and that's something I'm really passionate about in my life. When it comes to the philanthropic work I do, the brand, I mean, everything. Like, I hate the idea that there are stereotypes about groups of people that just shouldn't exist. And this is like an immigrant story, and a mom dealing with what she's dealing with and trying to raise her son in this crazy, you know, circumstance. And it's just such a beautiful story. It's a very human story.
Love that. I can't wait to see it.
Wow.
We've got to end with a dilemma, okay?
Yes.
Somebody has said This is a good one for you since did you move to London for Idris? Like, had you met him before?
I did.
Okay, no, that's good.
I moved for a boy. What's the dilemma?
Okay, well, here's the dilemma. Someone has said, I'd love your advice. I recently moved to a new city for my husband's job and I'm really struggling to make friends. It was so much easier in school or work environments, but now that I'm older, I find it awkward putting myself out there. I don't want to rely on my husband for a social life, but I have no idea where to start. How do you make genuine friendships as an adult?
Oh my God, I can relate to this so
good question.
much. So when I first moved to London, rookie mistake, okay, nobody told me this. So I moved to Shoreditch and I was on a high-rise in Old Street and I remember not knowing anyone, by the way. Also my first time
living
in
together.
London. No, so we lived apart at first. So I moved into this high-rise because I just thought, oh, it looks like a cool, trendy place.
People talk about Shoreditch.
People talk about Shoreditch. Exactly that. Like I heard Shoreditch is cool. I remember looking at my apartment every morning at like young people going out and having friends and like going to coffee and like it's like there's so much people traffic and feeling like the loneliest human and it was so sad, and it is genuinely a very, very hard thing when you move somewhere new and you don't have friends. As a Canadian, also culturally, I'm just going to be a little honest.
It's a bit friendlier. It's a bit friendlier than us.
It's a little easier. Back home. I can imagine. It was like, people say they want to hang out, but then they don't really hang out. They just want to stay home. No one wants to leave their house in the UK.
Correct.
And also people don't talk to each other in elevators. You guys, that to me, foreign concept, okay? Like, you cannot enter an elevator without saying hi. Like a general...
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't want to say hi. Don't talk to me in an elevator.
But I will say the thing that helped was to find so I'd taken up like a workout class. And I was like, I'm going to put myself in environments and situations where that is happening and it is a bit more social, because I think our first instinct is to kind of just like hide under your blanket and go, I'm really lonely and that's the end of it. And poor me. And like, also stick to your friends back home, because at the beginning it was like I was calling them every 2 seconds. No, force yourself into these positions. Go somewhere where you're like going to meet somebody. And I would even like go to the cinema alone. Like I would just do things to just make friends. And actually my first friend that I made in London was Emma Weymouth, who you guys probably know. And it's such a, who we spoke about earlier, because she saw me at a party. At this point I was still so sad. Like I was like, babe,
but you got into a party, so that's a good start.
Yeah. My husband was getting into quite a few parties.
Sorry, of course. I forgot you were with the boy.
I was a professional plus one at that point.
Sure.
And I'd gone to this party and she was across the dance floor. She goes, we should dance.
I love that.
And I was like, that's what I needed, is like, you know, just putting yourself in that uncomfortable position, because somebody will. Yeah. It's like, there is actually always someone.
I think people just presume that everyone's got friends. Or have got their like friendship. They're not open for business.
Yeah. But like a dance floor, of course you're going to meet someone.
Yeah.
You know?
But I love that, because that's not very British either of her to be like.
I did say that
to
to
her.
her.
Had a few tequilas.
She was drunk.
I think it was more of a vodka party.
Okay, so you got to put yourself out there is the key.
It's really hard, isn't it? Especially when you're dating a new man and you want him to see you at your best and your best.
You want your own friends.
And you're like with your girlfriend and, you're really confident. And I can't
and busy,
do that,
not just available.
I'm not gonna lie, I remember pretending to be busy.
Oh my God. And
could you say instead? I've got.
You're like, I'm washing my hair. So big plan.
So it's really hard because you want them to see you at your best self, and when you're, you know, when you're feeling sad, and boys don't get it. Cause we lived in Singapore for 8 years, and
I forgot. Sorry, of course you've done this. Of course,
but we were married when we moved there, and everyone had a baby, and we didn't have a baby, and I was like, fuck, I need the accessory, but I didn't want a baby at that time. I wanted to have fun and party and go traveling, but I remember like trying to explain to James that I'd like messaged a girl and she hadn't messaged me back, and I was like
devastated.
And James was like, "What's wrong with you?"
I can so relate.
And I was like,
to
"But she hasn't messaged me back, and why hasn't she messaged me back?" And you know, it's so embarrassing because we've got mutual friends, and why hasn't she? Anyway, and years later, she's like, "No, one of my best friends." 3 years later, she was like, "Babe, I just didn't see the message," and I was like, "God, the amount." Like James and I spoke about it for hours. It's just like, you are a psycho.
So funny, but it does matter these things, and when you're an adult, it gets harder and harder to.
And you feel more vulnerable, right? Like you don't have those scenarios in your actual life with your actual friends where you're thinking, why has this random person not
put a kid anywhere in any room, and they will make a friend.
Yeah, yes. You've just got to be. It will be okay. Yeah, because you know we lived there for 8 years, and the first 3 months I was like, oh my God. But then,
did you not message her back for a while if she met?
Yeah, did you get revenge?
Yeah, did you play a game?
I was a keen bean.
You replied. Hi.
2 minutes later.
I'm here.
I'm available.
Yeah, just put yourself out there and it will be okay. And
agree.
like, you know, explain to your boyfriend/husband/partner, I might be a bit unhinged, but this is not the real thing.
Just find
It's
some
a
friends and we're gonna
phase.
be
It's a phase. And also, I think just being in uncomfortable situations in general is like the best way to grow.
Yeah, it is.
It's so good for you.
It
It's
is.
so
It
good.
is, and it made me a better person, like having that experience.
I'm sure.
Because I am, you know, I'll talk to anyone. But
Yeah.
not in lifts.
We're changing that. Is there a lift on the way out?
Ladies, we could keep going for the rest of the day. This has been so much fun. Will you come back?
So much
Please do
fun.
this
I
again.
will.
Thank you. After the gold
Thank you
party.
so
need
much
to-
for having me.
Give us all your
We'll have more scoop on the menu.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any feedback, please do email podcast@sheerluxe.com. Look out for our question box on social every week. And please do subscribe if you don't already. It really does help us out. Have a great week and we'll see you next time.
I had a great time.